I trained MMA for 6 years.
What?
Yeah, when I was a kid.
Nuh-uh. Wait.
At the same time as skating?
Yes. Yeah. I was about 12 years old, and I actually was getting bullied.
Yeah.
I was getting bullied, and my dad saw me get slapped up, and he saw that and was like, "Okay, we're gonna get you into fighting."
My son's doing that.
Yeah. And it was. I loved it. I loved every moment of it.
What age when you started?
About 12 years old.
And for 6 years.
Yeah.
MMA, not just one aspect. You did MMA from the get-go.
Yes, MMA. Yeah. So
What was your...
Did it deter bullying from that point on? Or did you just... Like, I'm so curious as to how the sort of full circle comes on that.
Because it gives you confidence.
No, I know it gives you confidence, but if someone's hassling you, what happens?
Well, I mean, I think that what you learn when you start fighting is you learn not to fight.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you learn first. Like, I gained a profound respect for martial arts. Like, when I got into it, it was me and my brother doing it collectively. And we would do 1.5-hour sessions every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. And we would basically do sparring with the coach back and forth. And then the last 30 minutes was us sparring each other, me and Jet. And so we would spar each other. And what I learned from that is after like 2 years, when I got into another scuffle again with whether it was anybody, you know, just being around, being a kid, I wasn't scared. And and it's honestly like I learned how to, if someone were to throw something at me or run up me and try to grapple me or take me or take me to the ground, it was always like 1 or 2 moves just to move them away and just continue with your day. You know?
It's less traumatizing. Like, I don't care how old you are or how tough you are. When you're in a fight and people are throwing stuff at you and you don't fight, it's a traumatizing event. But when you've been in the gym for years, you're like, like someone's trying to punch me in the head. I've been punched in the head so much that you're just angry, and I'm not in this emotionally. I'm trying to get out of it because I understand when I get hit, it's not cool, and when I do that to other people, that's not cool. So I'm not looking. Some people might get a little triggered, but most people, when they do it for as long as you did, have respects for their fellow humans and don't wish to smash their bones on people.
But it's always the fantastical version is what we see in movies and whatnot, where it's like you secretly trained and the next time something happens, you like get into a black belt position.
Yeah. No, that's not the case.
Kick someone's ass. But I like that attitude better. It's like, oh, now I know how to just deflect and be over it.
It's such an ego death.
Yeah.
Like getting punched in the face when you're a kid at 13 years old is an ego death, especially because when you're fighting in gyms, you're not like I was sparring my brother to learn. But most of the time, I was sparring other fighters who were way better than I was, who were picking me apart. Like round after round, I'd walk out of there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh! Like I realized that I know absolutely nothing. Right. Like, and you just keep going and you enjoy it because I was never a good grappler. I never had a lot of upper body strength, but I was always really tough and I was dedicated and I enjoyed it. Right? Because in skateboarding, you learn how to just endure.
That's what I was gonna say.
Just fall.
I had a full scuffle on the playground in elementary school. And this dude pinned me down. He's way bigger than me. And this dude pinned me down, and he just started punching, and I was laughing at him. And he got so mad that he quit. Yeah. And it was more like, I
wouldn't recommend that
this pain.
move all
What's
the
that?
time. I wouldn't recommend that to everybody else for their self-defense, but that did
No,
work
but
for you.
I didn't have any other, you know what I mean? I had no resources. I had no training. I just had skating.
Right, because you're
and
so
I knew the
used
pain
to
of
it.
skating, and I was like, come on, dude. And I was laughing, and then he's like, that's all I got. And then he got up and left.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely would recommend every kid to start fighting. Yeah. And I would recommend kids to start fighting to not fight. Yeah. Like, that's the whole thing, right? Is that go learn how to fight. Go get really comfortable being uncomfortable. Yeah. And after even a year or 2 years, you'll be like, you know what? Like I'm all about peace.
The
like,
biggest one to me is when people do want to fight, the anxiety that I used to have versus now where I'm like, come on, man. Like, you really don't want to. Versus I'll puff up and be like, oh yeah, because I'm trying to scare you because I really don't want to fight either. Yeah. But now if someone's like, you want to go? I'm like, no. You know, like, really? Do we have to? Yeah. It seems kind of ridiculous. Like, because you cut me off and I gave you the finger? Like, it's pretty overrated. and then if there was something that goes, like, my eyes are open. Like, I don't go, oh, you know, I'm like, well, go on. You know, because I know I got you. If I haven't seen you on TV, I got your ass for sure. And then the other thing you said, when people are better, that was the biggest one to me. Every time I got better, I'd come back to the gym and I'd be like, oh man, like I know some stuff now. And then I'd fight a guy who's good, and I'd see how calm his face is while he's beating my ass. And I'm like, you're not even trying. Like I reach and it's like, whack, and kick my leg. And I'm like, what? Where? How did you come with like a 4-punch combination? He's like, wham, 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 like that. Good job, man. Good. Or I've hit a guy flush.
You're doing great, honey.
Yeah.
But what did you take any of that to cross over to your skating?
I mean, really for me, I just enjoyed fighting. That was just something that I enjoyed. Skating is something where like you learn concrete's undefeated when you're young. Like you learn that at a young age. You're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna endure this. But I mean, I think the crossover from MMA to skating is that I learned how to control my emotions under pressure. Wow. Right? Like I think that was the biggest thing when I like and the way my upbringing went was all competition. You know, I
right. That's what I wanted to ask you, because I have seen you and you get that flow state, eye of the tiger, whatever you want to call it, and you're in it, and it's just like, oh, he's gonna make everything. Everything's easy for him. But through the years of competition, I know you have to develop that, but did you have it early on, that calmness?
No, I never had it early on. And I really don't believe that some competitors get that naturally. Like, I think that has to be created. And the way that I created it was just hard work. Like, the way that I was regimented as a kid was I was really regimented like a gymnast. The way that I did skateboarding was 3 in a row or 5, and if I didn't have the trick, I would do 7. I would do 7 tries and then try to make one, and then if I didn't make it, I would go back to doing 7 or up to 14, and it was always about the numbers. And numbers to me created the confidence
and consistency.
Yeah, and the consistency. And also as a kid, like, I had so many great people I was skating with, right? At the time, like, I had Jedi, my buddy Cam, I had Cam Kriegel and Cam Sedlick. I had all of my buddies there, Aaron Gore, and we were just loving skating. Like, we were just so obsessed with it, right?
But if you're approaching it like that, in terms of like the numbers, does that pull the fun out of it for you?
Of course. It does. Of course it does. Yeah, it definitely pulls the fun out of it a little bit.
Because it's the pressure you put on yourself.
Yes. Yeah, it's really
so what is your most fun type of session?
My most fun type of scenario or type of session is me and my friends in the park just skating. And honestly, at this point, even if I'm skating with my friends but still doing the numbers, I have no problem with it, right? I think that I've realized that, like, the curse is a blessing, the blessing is a curse. Like, I love that I still have that, like, I have that work ethic to create consistency, and when I'm under pressure, it feels like another day in the park, right? Because truthfully, the competition to me is fun, right? Because it's over after that. But I'll walk into the park sometimes with tricks and lists and numbers that I have to do that will either take me 45 minutes or 3.5 hours.
That's what I see Reese going through every day. And she has to do things like 5 and 10 at a time.
Yeah, and it's kind of just like, well, I better try to have fun. Like, you know what I mean? Because the truth is, I love skating, and it is what my perception is of it.